A formula that revolutionized breakfast was discovered in a small Midwestern American town around the turn of the 20th century. The man at the center of it all had dropped out of school. No one, not even his relatives, believed in him. However, he never gave up on his idea and created a brand that is today found in every grocery store. Welcome back to Enterprise Epics. Let's take our journey through the success story of Will Keith Kellogg lifestyle. Will Keith Kellogg was born in 1860 in Battle Creek, Michigan, approximately 160 miles from Chicago. He was one of Ann Jeanette Stanley and John Preston Kellogg's 11 children. Will was up surrounded by the recently established Seventh-day Adventist Church in his early years. One thing that was instilled in him was hard work. Paying for his own clothes, Will started working at the age of 7. His dedication to the job and his relationship with the church would be crucial to his success in the corporate world later on. Will experienced difficulties at school. Will was not close to his friends and was noted by his professors to be much slower than them. He was reportedly a quiet child who kept to himself. However, without support or any academic prospects, he dropped out at the age of 13 to join his father's broom manufacturer company as a traveling salesman. Will worked for the company for 9 years before getting employed by a rival company in Dallas, Texas. He had far greater success as a salesman than in school. However, he was called back to his hometown less than a year later, in 1879, to assist his brother John Harvey Kellogg in managing the Battle Creek Sanitarium, which had close ties to the church. It was to be the turning point in his life. The sanitarium. Under the direction of John Harvey Kellogg, the sanitarium was founded in 1866 as a facility to promote Seventh-day Adventist church health practices. Prior to being a hotel for the elite, it served as a medical facility for soldiers injured during the war. Unlike Will, John Harvey was an academically gifted man who was a fierce theological advocate, as well as a practicing medical doctor. Like Will, John got kicked out of school, but he achieved advanced literacy on his own and attended university with a family friend's sponsorship. His work at the sanitarium aimed to promote hydrotherapy, vegetarianism, and abstinence from alcohol and tobacco, aligning with the Seventh-day Adventist Church's principles. John Harvey had been running it for 3 years when Will arrived, and during that time, he created a chewable breakfast item that he named Granula. It was made of oats, corn, and wheat that had been baked, cooled, and then crushed into small pieces. However, due to legal issues, the product name was changed to granola. Helping John in his experiments with various types of healthy meals, Will also worked as a bookkeeper, shipping clerk, cashier, and in all the odd jobs around the sanitarium. Their efforts resulted in a product in 1894 that created an entire company. One night, they accidentally left some wheatberry dough outside, and instead of throwing the produce away, they decided to make it. The dough was thinly rolled out to create flakes that were perfect for baking. Kellogg's had just invented the foundation for flaked cereal, which is today just called cereal. After introducing them to the sanitarium, the flakes became so popular that patients ordered them after they returned home too. The Kellogg brothers recognized the endless possibilities of their concept. 2 years later, they established the Sanitas Food Company and began manufacturing whole grain cereals. But diverging ambitions caused William and John to fall out. When the growing disagreements became too much, the two brothers split ways. The battle. Will started his own business in 1906 and named it Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company. However, Will had numerous early failures with his new business. He was not legally able to use the method of making cereal. The patent filed in 1895 was under his brother's name. In 1907, Will's factory was destroyed, but he was able to rebuild it within 6 months. Will was determined to make it work, and the key to his plan coming to fruition was earning the rights to his brother's patent. In the years after his factory fire, he was able to convince him. He changed the name of the business to Kellogg Toasted Cornflake Company, putting the family name behind him. Sales were increasing at an exponential rate, and by 1909, the company had produced more than 120,000 cases per day. However, the success wasn't without its difficulties. When his brother John created another cereal brand called Kellogg's, Will sued him for the rights to the family name. However, at that time, John had been kicked out of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, to which he had devoted his life. Furthermore, the court case took nearly 10 years to come to an end. In a media interview, Will summarized his case by saying, "Everyone who hears the name Kellogg's thinks of cornflakes now." Ultimately, the Michigan Supreme Court made a decision that favored Will. While John Harvey Kellogg was credited with inventing the flake cereal method and inviting his brother into the sanitarium, he eventually became a stepping stone for Will, who had greater aspirations. However, later accounts have shown how John mistreated Will throughout his time working at the sanitarium, paying his brother less than $90 per month, while the facility brought in more than $4 million a year. From then, he got to work strengthening the business. With Kellogg's name now securely in his possession, Will expanded his influence and amassed enormous wealth. More. Before the Kellogg brothers invented flake cereal, potatoes and meat often fried were the standard American breakfast. The simplest dish to prepare was porridge, but it also took hours on a wood-burning stove. It was evident to Will Kellogg that there was a strong desire for an alternative. He rebranded the company to simply Kellogg's in 1922. Will made significant advertising investments, throwing millions of dollars into the pursuit of making Kellogg's a synonym for cereal and breakfast. However, with the introduction of Frosted Flakes following World War II, Kellogg's took the lead in the market once more. However, Will Kellogg chose to devote a significant amount of his final years to horse racing and philanthropy. He passed away in 1951. Furthermore, the Kellogg family lost control of the company's leadership after demoting his grandson and removing his son from it. Today, following Will's passing, Kellogg's kept growing. But Kellogg's market share fell to a record low 36% in 1983. However, in the late 1980s, advertising helped to save the company by tripling middle-aged cereal consumers. After completing a multi-billion-dollar acquisition of the Pringles brand, the business rose to become the second-largest snack food company in the world. With operations in 180 countries, Kellogg's generated $13 billion in revenue in 2020, accounting for about 30% of the industry's total revenue. Now Kellogg's produces some of the world's most popular cereals. So, what are your thoughts on Will Keith Kellogg's remarkable story? Make sure to share each of those in the space provided for comments below.